2, 3.
Hi, Dorothy.
Okay, so today we're talking about ethics.
Yeah, there.
Did you guys read those two things? The next one, which is short and sweet, and the other one, which is very, very long.
I forgot, I'm so sorry.
I forgot.
Well, let's just look at the next one. The next one is looks like this. Code of Ethics of the National Association of Teachers. See? Okay. So just kind of looking through them. Unprofessional and unethical for teachers to make any false claims regarding themselves or their pupils. So that means, that you sang it in that when in fact you didn't. Or that, your students are stars on Broadway or whatever. What's the danger of false claims?
It's a lie.
It's deceit, right?
It's a sin.
It's a sin.
It's straight to hell.
That's right. Well, it is certainly it's fraud. And why would people say things like that? To attract students, yeah.
Because they are greedy.
I'm sorry.
To have higher prices.
Higher pricing, yeah.
They're not good people.
They're not good people. Yes. It is unethical and unprofessional for teachers by misleading statements or false promises to induce a student to study singing in hope of a career if the student's talent does not warrant it. So that's listen, darling, I can make you a star. You just need to come to my studio and pay me $120 an hour, and you're going to come every day of the week. I will make you a star because I've done it before. It's kind of creepy. How can any one person have that much impact upon a career path like classical singing, where they might be the star of your studio, but we go out for competitive auditions, and no amount of good words by your teacher to this impresario and that impresario can ever cover, all the bases around the world. Plus, that, there is, to be fair, certain opera companies that over the years, I worked at Central City Opera, and John Moriarty was very obviously, if you went to one of the big northeastern schools, you stood a better chance of getting in to be a studio world apprentice artist. Yes, this is on tape. Oh my gosh. But seriously, if you went to Westminster Choir College, or you went to NEC, or you went to BOCO, or you went to Manhattan, and they're all good schools, don't get me wrong. They're very talented students there. But yeah, if you weren't, Indiana, Cincinnati, one of those schools, it was a lot harder for people to get a live audition, let alone, and I think that's probably not just Central City Opera, that's a lot of opera companies. They know there's a famous teacher there. Oh, this person studies with that famous teacher. Okay, we'll hear them. Or they go to that.
Really good quality if they can get in there.
Well, right. There is some logic behind it, but at the same time, really, there are good singers everywhere. There may be more of them concentrated at this school or that school.
There are a lot of really good singers. Like in this room. This
I
is
know.
100%.
I know. Exactly.
Classroom.
Seriously, the difference between a school like UTSA and a school like Indiana, it's not that the really good ones are that much gloriously better at Indiana or whatever. There's just a lot more of them there.
There's more money too.
There's a whole lot more money. Yeah, because, years ago, we had a really talented group of undergraduates. Among them, Michelle Lang and Rafael Morris and Lorenzo Garcia. Well, Lorenzo went to Indiana. First semester of his master's degrees, he's singing Ferrando in Così. He was cast before he even started school. He went up there for the auditions, was cast before he even started school. He did leading roles 3 times. Hi, Caitlin. He did 3 leading roles there. You know, he was second cast here to Raphael. Raphael was our, the Friday night cast of all the operas. Lorenzo was the Sunday afternoon cast. Raphael's done the Met auditions several times, was a national finalist, has sung at Los Angeles Opera and Aspen and so on. Michelle's gone over and sung in Europe already, and that was 3 students here all at the same time who've gone on to really good things. So it's not that we don't have talented students here in Louisville, San Antonio, or Denver, or Bozeman, Montana, or, Tallahassee, Florida, or whatever. There's just a whole lot more of them at some of those schools. And there are famous singers who now teach at those schools that have a good knack for attracting talented students. Some of them are, and some of them aren't that great at teachers, It's true. Some of them are really good teachers. Some of them are good coaches, but they may not be good technical teachers. And undergraduates need a good, strong technical teacher more than anything. Okay. Well, I probably just made myself a lot of good friends in the business, but I said what they all think. It's unethical to advertise in a manner that may deceive or mislead prospective students by promises of professional appearances. Okay, that's C numbers 1 and 2 above. Advertising free scholarships and free tuition constitutes unfair competition with teachers who do not endeavor to increase their class by such methods. Now, that doesn't mean schools can't have scholarships and assistantships, but that's like the private teacher who's trying to undercut their competitors to attract, the really, really good students. Number 5 seems to make sense. Number 6 is one of our big rules. When we have auditions, student auditions, at no time does anybody in that room have the right to ask, who do you study with? Now,
Isn't that on your resume though?
nope. You don't turn in a resume at a Nats audition.
Oh.
They're talking about Nats auditions.
Right, okay.
No, but I mean like to audition to get into a school
Yeah.
or a young artist program or something like that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have that stuff there. Unethical to critically criticize adversely the work of fellow teachers unless such statements can be substantiated with proof. You can disagree, and I certainly will state my disagreement. I don't agree with so-and-so about X. I understand the merits of their approach. I feel something else is needed.
Would it be unethical for a previous teacher to go to lunch with a current teacher and tell your current teacher that you, the singer, should not study with a prospective teacher because they will ruin le voce?
That's, I would say, what the statement is kind of about. Yeah. And let's face it, the voice teaching world is a pretty catty little world. It's unethical either by inducements, innuendos, insinuations, or other acts to proselytize, there you go, pupils of other teachers. So that's the, saying, look, you shouldn't go study with so-and-so. You should study with me, or you should study with Ms. So-and-so, or whatever. So-and-so's going to ruin your voice. Yeah. we've had some questionable things. I remember at Texoma some years ago, there was a very prominent member of Texoma Nats who was approaching a student from UTSA, thinly veiled, trying to get the student to transfer to the other teacher's school. Not by putting down anybody here, but just, you would have more opportunities if you came to, and I'm sure, that we, probably could find, it's a private school, I'm sure we could probably find, some things to make this more affordable for you and your family, and I would just love to have the opportunity to work with you. I think, so on and so on. It got back around very fast to two faculty members here really quickly,
So what's like,
one of whom was the teacher of the student in question, and both of whom had either been or have or were regional governors of our district, of our region. So
so then the teacher that's at fault, what happens?
well, the person was being careful in how they worded things, but it was pretty close to the line. It was pretty close to the line. Trying to convince someone to leave the school they're at in the middle of a degree, that was tacky. Really tacky. We've had kids that we really wanted to come here, and they ended up going somewhere else. Excuse me. And, they wrote me and some of our other faculty a really nice letter. I've decided to go, in fact, this one was going to Boston Conservatory. Really talented student. High SAT score, 4.0 GPA. She had trial lessons with several of us. We all wanted her to come here, and we all wanted her to study with us, no lie. But she made that decision. The first thing out of my mouth was, that's a wonderful school, and, and the person you're working with is a really fine, highly regarded teacher, and, I wish you all the best, and we sure enjoyed hearing you, and we're sorry that, you're not coming here, but best of luck, look forward to hearing great things about you in the future. What else can you say?
So what about if like a teacher is changing, the teacher is moving to a different school?
Ah, yes.
And
To follow them.
Oh,
if the student, like,
students do follow teachers sometimes,
But then-
for sure.
they get a scholarship where the teacher is going, it's like the chicken before the egg.
Well,
Did the student decide because they wanted to?
teachers
or-
tend to, the way college voice positions are searched and so on, it's usually March or something when a teacher might know, and that's for somebody who, that would be for somebody, who's probably at a higher level already. If it were an assistant professor position, it might even be a little bit later. But it's usually, mid-spring before somebody knows they've got a job at another school. And, for a student to decide to transfer that late is awkward because they've probably missed audition dates for that school. So, it's not unheard of that students say, well, I want to, Mr. So-and-so or Ms. So-and-so is going to this other school and I want to keep studying with them. If Barbara Dosher had ever left Colorado, I would have done the same thing. I was that committed to working with her. But the chance of somebody getting a scholarship immediately, there's some NASM rules about enticing students away and things like that. That's tricky business. Now the next year around, a student might get a scholarship or something, but not immediately. That's tricky business.
I thought of that because there was one student that followed a choir director,
Uh-huh.
and he came with the scholarship. And
Interesting.
then he was a terrible person. He got money.
Yeah, I mean, there are some NASM rules, pretty clear rules, National Association of Schools of Music, about, you know, a student is on a scholarship at a school or has been offered a scholarship and has accepted that scholarship, and then for another school to make an offer
Yeah.
and the person takes it, that can get the school enticing the student
Yeah.
with the scholarship in big doo-doo. Big doo-doo. So, you know, it wouldn't be unheard of that, okay, the student goes there knowing I'm not going to get a scholarship, but I just want to study with Mr. So-and-so, and then the next year, but not immediately. It's unethical to exploit as one's own the results of another teacher's instruction or allow one's pupils to do so. And about somebody having studied less than 8 months.
So does that mean that, like, Catherine, Sarah, and I are going to have to, like, for Nats, we put our previous teacher too?
Well, 8 months. So if you finished up, say, what, May or June or whatever of last year, it's been 8 months now since then. So for fall, I mean, like for the spring Nats here, no. I mean, you've been working with Dr. Allen, you know, that period of time. Somebody who, say, just started school this semester or something, I would have to list the other teacher.
Okay.
And in fact, when students change studios, or a teacher leaves and the students go to another teacher, or freshmen coming in, or new grad students, when, say, somebody's one at like Texoma, they announce a student of so-and-so,
blah, blah, blah,
formerly a
of
student
blah, blah,
of,
blah.
yeah. And we are required to list the other teacher's name if it's been less than 8 months.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing though is, you know, once somebody leaves your studio and then they go on to great things, I mean, I have students that, you know, Lorenzo's one, he's in New York City, and he's done some things, and I list him on my resume, you know, as a former student, you know,
Yeah.
and what he's done. And I have a former student who sings in the chorus of the Met. That was with another teacher. But you know, he's one of my students from the past. Probably going to start coughing. That's the cough drop. Give me just a moment. I got Kleenex. Okay. Here's paper towels for the toilet.
Oh, Coach. Ew, gross.
It's okay.
You sure I can't go get you like a towel from the bathroom or something?
It's okay. I'll put the sides that were on the inside. It's fine. It's my nose.
You know, for a long time I didn't understand why people like left the room to blow their nose or like turned away or something like that. I didn't understand it for a long time. But then I like heard myself blow my nose one day and I was like, oh, that's why. Because like I'm like a
Sometimes
foghorn.
if you have like a really
It has a
bad
pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, doing better now. Making a contract with a pupil more than the price of lessons. The big one there. No contract shall be made on the basis of a percentage of a student's future potential earnings or accepting a fee in securing an engagement for a pupil people, as in acting like an agent.
Mm.
Obviously, these things are in here because there's probably been problems in the past. Now, the next one, names of people who have left a member and failed to meet their instruction fees, that is, haven't paid up. That can be reported. Yeah, and then if a member learns from any other source that an applicant for lessons has not fulfilled a financial obligation to a member, it's unethical to accept the pupil until these obligations have been satisfactorily adjusted. And the last one is, teach your best, give your best teaching. Yeah, we've had a situation where a student had not paid one of our accompanists for a whole semester. And then the student was trying to get another accompanist,
Oh dear.
and the other accompanist had gotten wind of the financial situation and said, I'm not paying for you until you pay your debts. I'm sorry. Love it. Okay. So now, we're going to have a little pedagogical theater.
Yes.
So let's scoop the desks back, because we're going to need the space around the piano. I'm writing out little roles.
New York.
This will be made especially awkward, but okay.
No, thank you.
And I know just the portion for these roles.
Thank God.
And you are not to reveal.
Okay.
Go to the piano, and you're the teacher, you're the student.
Am I just supposed to?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
since my feelings for you won't be denied,